Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. I know this video is really bright, so I hope it ends up looking okay. I just feel like infusing this video with extra light today and sitting in the sun and just kind of embracing this because it's winter time, and where I am there's often gray skies, and I think it kind of feeds into my energy, and also I've just kind of been having some insights and kind of like a hard time since last night, and it's kind of dragging into my day today. So I just want to make sure that we, fill this video with as much light and love as possible, and so I can do an accurate reading for everybody. So that's why it's really bright. I hope it ends up looking okay, because it looks good for what I see right now, but I don't know how it's going to look later on the computer. But anyways, actually a few things before I even get into the reading. I'm going to try to keep this short. I like to ramble. Not ramble, but I like to talk about things I'm passionate about. First of all, we are heading into February very, very soon, and when that happens, there's so much going on planetary-wise, it's insane, and I hope I can get this right. So, Venus has been in retrograde for the past little while, and this is going to be going forward. So, this is good for February because Venus represents love and self-love, love with others, communication, stuff like this. So, if there's any kind of relationship problems that you've been having, probably likely to do with Venus being in retrograde. So this Venus is moving forward and out of retrograde, which is really great. However, the wow, it got really bright there. However, the kind of, I don't want to say negative thing, but the kind of thing, well, that we often dread is the Mercury retrograde, which is coming up right after Venus is going to go out of retrograde. Mercury is going to be going into retrograde, which often brings up a lot of past pains and hurts. This can be from your childhood, this can be from past lives, and this is kind of what I'm feeling right now, is because we're leading into the retrograde. And the last Mercury retrograde we had, I think, was in November, and it just about killed me. Not literally, but it just knocked me right out. And I had a lot of insights come up and a lot of memories come up that were hidden in my mind, and so it was very, very, very difficult to deal with. So this is the kind of thing that we're going to be dealing with over the next month in February. Also, they say it's not a good time to sign documents, or if you have to read the fine print very clearly, read it over and over again. Traveling, if you're traveling within February, I think it's from like the 8th to the 26th, or something around that time. It's for most of February, or it might go to the 28th, I don't know. But anyway, for most of February, things might be a bit off. Electronics seem to crap out. Like I said, traveling problems, just a lot of setbacks. So it's a good time to kind of retreat and let yourself have some time alone, and not to take too much forward action until that retrograde passes. And I think by the time it's, we're in March, then it'll be a bit more fluid and you can kind of move forward with certain things. And this is the crazy thing, is that after Mercury goes direct, and when it's not in retrograde anymore, I think it's Mars that goes into retrograde. Now, this is so uncommon for 3 planets to be retrograding and then going direct, retrograding and then going direct, retrograding and then going direct. This is usually really spread out, and it's just funny that at the beginning of the year it's just like these 3 major planets are just completely going retrograde and everything is kind of backwards. So if you do experience any kind of setbacks at the beginning of this year, know that that definitely has a big part to do with it energetically. And I think that's kind of what I'm witnessing. A lot of this stuff is coming up, and I of course have so many plans and goals and stuff like that, but the beginning of this year, I think we won't really be too clear until, I think they're saying July, something like that, or maybe April. I don't know. It's going to be a couple months of craziness and planets going retrograde, and it'll be a while before, we can fully step into, I think, what the year has in store. And of course, it doesn't mean that bad things are going to happen to you, and it doesn't mean that good things can't happen. It just means that there may be some setbacks And you may not be able to get to all the places you want to get to. You may not be able to achieve all the goals you want to within like the first couple months of this year, and that's okay. Anyways, just wanted to make a note of that because, you know, whether you're aware of the planets or not, they are affecting us. You know, it's like the moon and the sun obviously have a huge effect on us. And it's energy, right? Everything's energy. So I just wanted to throw that out there and make you guys aware of that. I'm going to be using this new deck of cards that I won from Doreen Virtue, and I've used them a few times. They seem to be very, very accurate, and I'm very excited to use them. So these are the Archangel Power Tarot Cards. I'm not used to traditional tarot, so it's taking me a little bit to get used to what all the symbols mean and stuff like that, but it's awesome. It's a 78 card deck, so compared to my other angel cards, it's very different. It's a lot more cards to shuffle with, which is what makes it really interesting, because if you get two of the same suit, two of the same archangels coming through, or three in a row, it makes it kind of unreal because the cards are shuffled really well and there's so many of them. So if the same messages keep coming up and up, it's just interesting, and it just reminds you that the right messages are always coming up for you in card readings. And, you know, it just really proves that when you have 78 cards, and if you have the same cards coming up, even if you've shuffled so well, it's just kind of interesting. Helps you have a little bit more faith and trust, if you will. So anyways, I'm just going to close my eyes here and focus and ask that everyone that's watching this video will benefit from these messages for this week. And I ask that, you know, these will be messages that can really help people and really resonate with people. We'll see what this week has in store for us. Like I said, planets are starting to shift within this, probably within this next week or so. So we shall see what the messages are. So for the beginning of this week, what do we have here? We have the sun. Isn't that hilarious? I'm getting chills right now because I just said I feel like infusing this reading with extra light and with the sun, and I'm sitting in the sunlight, so this is quite hilarious to me. This is with Archangel Uriel, who's come up quite a bit lately, and the message is, life is wonderful. Thrive through the power of positive thinking and inspiring success. So the sun, wow, that's unreal to me. So of course this is reminding us of the power of positive thinking. Like I said, it's difficult sometimes, especially when the planets are changing and retrograding and there's so much going on. And if we do start to feel the effects of Mercury retrograde, when all these old past pains come to light, it can be really difficult. And I think sometimes I even forget to mention what it's like to really be on a spiritual path. You know, there are so many positive aspects, and of course it's a beautiful journey to walk in this life, to be consciously aware of yourself and of the universe and the universal love and light that's always available to us. But it's not always sunshine and rainbows. You know, it's really difficult, and for people who are just starting to embark on their own spiritual journey and spiritual path in this life, and they're just kind of awakening to all the amazing power that's out there, and, you know, connecting with their angels and stuff like this, it usually doesn't start off very easily. You know, we have like a dark night of the soul, if you will, and things can get really dark. And like I said, people like me who are trying to do positive things in this world still experience tough times and negative thoughts sometimes. And we're human, and we're supposed to go through these things. And Mercury retrogrades come up for a reason. You know, they always last like 3 weeks, and it's a long time, and it's a lot of just shit that seems to come up, and you just start to remember all these things, and you feel into your past hurts and pains. Like I said, it could be from your childhood or even past lives. You can really feel in depth all of a sudden all these things just coming up for you, and it's really tough, you know, and it's really hard to stay positive sometimes when you're dealing with stuff like this. But the thing to keep in mind is that you are safe now, and that your soul is choosing to go through this for a reason, right? And this stuff always comes up so you can grow and learn and eventually teach others and help others, you know, because we're all teachers and students. But this is all here for us to come up to clear. You know, this stuff doesn't come up to hurt you. The stuff may be painful to face at times, but it's here so you can recognize it and recognize your growth and where you are now, and recognize that you've come so far. And even if there's things that you want to work on, which there always will be, you know, you're still doing perfectly well on your path. You know, it's about growing and trying your best, and that's all you can really do. So, you know, just remember that the power of positive thinking is huge, yet that doesn't mean that we should forget about the shadow side of things, because there always is a shadow side to things. And I'm not saying you should focus always on that shadow side and always focus on your pain and stuff. You know, there's a time and a place, and certainly it seems to be the time to do that when a retrograde happens, especially with Mercury. And it just, for some reason, seems to bring out a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. And it's okay to kind of dive into that during those periods. And then once those periods pass, you'll find that you're so much stronger than you were before the retrograde. So it can be really tough, but, you know, things are going to work out. So just keep remembering that this life is beautiful, and tough times come up, and it really is just to strengthen you and your soul. And it's just perfect for you. Remember, just everything happens perfectly for you at the right time. So that's a huge message. I can't believe that, though. The sun. That's what I'm connecting to right now. For the middle of the week, we have the star. Now, this is really interesting because, like I said, I'm not big on traditional tarot, but I believe that these cards are, what do you call them exactly? Sorry, let me refer to the correct word here. These are the major arcana. So the star and the sun are both part of this. It says the major arcana consists of 22 cards that describe the significant events turning points in our lives. The major arcana cards can also represent the different phases from childhood to old age. Each card is numbered, as is traditional in tarot, which is really funny because there's 78 cards in this deck, and a lot of them aren't part of this major arcana. Like I said, like 22 of them are part of it, and these are major messages and major pivotal points, changing points for us. And the rest of the cards are messages from archangels, which is great. Like, these ones are from archangels as well, but you know what I mean? Like, these are powerful cards coming up this week. So for the middle of the week, the message is the star with Archangel Jophiel. It says, a dream come true, believe in yourself, the end of a difficult situation. So that's awesome. You know, like I said, this is all about trying really hard to stay positive. And like I said, it's really a difficult practice, and you're going to fall off sometimes. You're going to fall off your wagon. You're going to fall out of your positive thinking practice, and it's okay because you're human and you go through these things. But when you believe in yourself, your dreams come true. So it seems like something really positive is going to come up in the middle of this week, some sort of opportunity. And to me, the star represents light. Again, it's the sun represents light. The star represents light. But again, the light in the dark, because without the dark we wouldn't be able to see stars, right? So this really symbolizes that some sort of positive opportunity is definitely in the works and is going to probably come up in the middle of this week. And even the card says at the end, this is the end of a difficult situation. So maybe you were going through a rough time, whether it's in a relationship, but I really feel it might even be career related. And some sort of turn in direction, because it just seems like there was darkness around some sort of situation. It wasn't the right time. You know, the past few weeks we've been told patience, right? And I feel like this is kind of giving you a bit of light and a bit of a positive spin. So it's kind of a new situation coming up in the middle of this week, which is really, really awesome. So keep believing in yourself and just know that there's something around the corner for you, and that the light will always shine through the darkness, right? That's something huge to remember. And for the weekend, wow, we have the Lovers. I'm getting chills right now because I have done quite a few readings with this deck, even though I just got it last week. I've done reading after reading, and I've had a few major arcanas come up, but I've never had 3 come up. I've always had, you know, lots of Archangel Michael and Gabriel and Ariel, you know. But this week, it's all major arcanas, which means that this is a very, very powerful week. And wow, just like so many chills right now. It's insane. And I'm sitting in the sunlight and I'm getting chills from these cards. So the Lovers for the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. With Archangel Raphael. I had this card actually come up my first reading with this deck. Which is funny because this is the first reading for everyone I'm doing with this deck as well. It says, make choices from your heart. Deeply emotional commitments, the power of love. Again, I just feel like everything this week is representing love and light and just having faith and trust in that. Simply, you know, love is the root of all. And yes, like I said, there are times where things seem so rough and so dark and we forget about our own light. We forget about the light within every being. And we forget that that's our core. You know, we forget about it because there's a lot of negative stuff in the world and we forget that that's our core. We forget that the core of every being is light and love, and we forget about that. And it really seems like there's just so much light being shown now. And I feel is fitting because, like I said, Venus is going out of retrograde finally and is going direct. And Venus is the planet of love, and that's basically what this message is for this week, is that love is going to really shine through for this week. In all ways. You know, your own inner light is really going to come out and shine. I really feel like career-wise, there's going to be opportunities coming to light. And I also feel like that is coming through in all of your relationships, and maybe even with love relationships too. Is the light is finally going to come through. And sorry guys. And like I said, Venus is a planet of love and communication, and things were kind of halted and stalled, and we've been told to be patient.